We're back, guys. This month in startups, there's so much happening in venture coming up on the vlog in just a minute.
We are back.
We're back.
We are back.
We are back, and a sincere apology to all those people that are hitting up both you and I in the DMs.
It's become a weekly thing. Where is Gavin Toby? Or where are Gavin Toby?
We're back.
We're back.
But we've got a new setup here. It's taken some time. Cost of living, macro environment, focusing on business has held me up personally.
And I've been hassling him for the past couple of months to say, let's get on with it. So here we are.
We're here. So Gav, new funds.
It has been one hell of a year in 2023, hasn't it?
Oh my God.
It's been tough in the macroeconomic conditions. It's been tough for founders. It's also been tough on the investor side as well.
Absolutely.
If we dive into the funds first, the biggest one over the past little while has been Main Sequence, which is CSIRO's fund. They came out with $450 million as a closed fund. I think it was their third fund, which is exciting for all the deep tech founders out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then beyond that, it's really VCs have been announcing that they're on the pathway to raising. So this week, Possible Ventures came out and said they're about halfway through their $100 million raise. We saw Side Stage Ventures come out with 15 out of 30. And there's about 6 or 7 other funds that are out there shaking the can, trying to raise funds. So there's a lot of people out there raising funds. The question is whether the limited partners have enough liquidity, so the investors, to give the money to then invest in startups.
So this is the circular economy here, right? It's the startups that need it, provided by the VCs with their LPs, and my God, it's tough out there.
Yeah, it's very tough out there. So that's on the investor side of things. But with all of that shaking of the can going on, we're also seeing startups be funded. And so there's been a couple in the 10, 20, 30 mark. Eucalyptus came out and raised 50 million a couple of months ago. That's health tech. There was a drone tech company, Propeller, that raised 20 million or so. There's been a lot, though, in the pre-seed and seed fund. And I was laughing with someone the other day, we speak about all these fictitious labels, Series A, Series B, Series C. So seed came out, obviously. Now there's pre-seed.
Yes.
And last week, a couple of pre-accelerators were launched. So everything's pre. So in a couple of months' time or next year, no doubt we'll see the pre-seed funds.
I'm pre-Series B.
There you go, on the path to Series B.
It doesn't feel like we're on the path, but that's okay. We'll keep rattling up the hill.
That's right. But we spoke about how these limited partners need money to be able to give the new fund managers. The good news is there's been a couple of exits over the past few months, right? Yep. So it's not all doom and gloom. Resdi, for example, sold to private equity, rumoured to be over $100 million, which is fantastic news for that 8 to 10-year-old startup. And also My Prosperity was acquired for $50 million. Dang. So there is some money, shifting around in the ecosystem, and that's what the ecosystem needs, right? It needs to invest in the money. It needs those businesses to be exited so that money can be hopefully recycled back into the next generation of startup founders.
Yeah, but you're talking about the good side. Talk to me about some of the stuff that's not so good.
Yeah, so look, the biggest headline industry, I guess, or category that we saw really go through its paces over the past couple of years is the last mile delivery, or the milk runs of the world, right? There were a whole lot of copycats, and that went up and to the right. Crap loads of money being thrown at it, and obviously Milk Run,
almost ran out. Actually, they did run out,
and Woolies picked them up.
Yeah,
they've been reincarnated. So if you see any billboards or you see spray painting on the wall,
I actually
get your Milk Run.
Yeah, I like that as a pickup for them. I think that enables, when I used to live in Los Angeles, they talk about the last mile a lot. And Booster Board came out, and there was a whole bunch of tech that came out about that last mile. I think Milk Run for Woolies. Yeah, pretty solid pickup.
And another one through COVID land was, by celebrity chef Providore. That also collapsed over the last little while. So we are seeing some movement in terms of startups that rode the COVID wave and on the pullback have been pulled back too far and obviously collapsed.
Providore, I don't know if you know this. Providore were actually anchor member at Creative Cubes.
Of course. Like Ignition Line, of course.
Collingwood.
Cremorne.
No.
Tech capital of Victoria.
OG. But they were there with us for 60 days, 90 days, and ended up bowing out, which was painful. But it is what it is.
So the good news on the horizon is the past couple of weeks. There's been some what do you call it? Grass shoots of excitement.
Green shoots.
The IPO window has been closed for the past little whilst we've been going through difficult macroeconomic conditions. But over the past couple of weeks, we've seen a little bit on the IPO kind of shiny object side of things, but also on the secondary sales, which is where investors can buy stock from early shareholders or early employees to give them some free cash flow. So we've seen Safety Culture raised a little bit of money. I think it was a couple $100 million at a $2.7 billion valuation, and have mentioned that they're going to do a share sale over the next little while, potentially, to bring that liquidity. We saw Rocked in the paper this week looking to do an IPO. They're approaching $3 billion mark, or they've just ticked over the $3 billion mark.
I think it's $3 billion US, isn't it?
Somewhere along those lanes. And then Blackbird completed a $150 million secondary sale of Canva.
Amazing.
And then there was some inklings of an IPO in the not too distant future with Canva, and that will obviously be transformative for the Australian tech ecosystem, for investors, employees, founders, and everyone.
So weird thing happened to me this morning. I wanted to actually share some documents or like a news link to my Twitter. And I'm like searching my like, where's the bird gone?
There is not a vlog that goes by where we cannot talk about Twitter, call it X, call it Elon Musk's pet project, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
We are now in the world of X and Meta instead of Twitter and Facebook.
That's right. Yeah, so I actually pounced past it a couple of times and went, oh no, it's not Twitter anymore.
It's because it's a black icon now,
black
so it
icon
doesn't stand out.
With an X, kind of weird logo.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, but very futuristic.
So there's been the rebrand. That's breaking news, pretty much,
Yep.
for people who live in the tech circles that we sit in. We also saw Instagram launch Threads, or Meta. Meta's Instagram launched Threads. There are so many brands going out here.
Mate, it died within minutes. I got so much stick on X about how, Threads is coming, and I was like, great, and they took off, and everyone was like really sticking the boot in me, and then within 48 hours.
Well, I've actually got a different follower group on Instagram than I do on Twitter. Most of my Instagram followers are my friends, and they don't use Twitter.
Instagram or
on
Threads?
Instagram. So when Threads came out, everybody connected Instagram with Threads, and then they said, "Become my friend," and suddenly all of my friends of Instagram started.
I didn't bother.
Anyway, it's all bloody confusing.
bother.
The reality is that Musk and Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are potentially going to go to fight. Whether it's a cage, whether it's an octagon, whether it's the Colosseum,
So I spoke with
it may happen.
I spoke with Elon this morning, and he said that Zuck keeps pulling out.
Yeah. Who knows whether it's going to come? You let us know in the comments on social media whether you think the battle royale is going to happen.
I mean, Elon said he'd go to Zuck's house and get it on there, but the mayor of Italy.
Mayor of Italy said that
President of Italy or Prime Minister of Italy, it's like, come to the Colosseum and do a gladiator style.
maybe Creative Q's can host it like they did with Shaq.
Probably not, because I probably wouldn't let Zuck in. Anyway.
All right. Well, to finish off, there's a new docu-series out on Apple TV and Google Play.
Yep.
It's essentially a story of 4 startups that are scaling in the Australian ecosystem, talking about the ups, the downs, the fundraising, the scaling, all the challenges, the trials and tribulations of a startup. It's on now on Apple TV and Google Play.
And if the producers behind the show want to come to Cubes and film our audience, tag them in the comment section below, because we have plenty of content here and plenty of amazing businesses that would absolutely be amazing on your show. So
All right. Well, it's been fun. Thanks, Tobe.
we're back.
Well done.
Thanks, guys.